What a May 19th. It's gonna go down as the minus 10K, up 10K day probably. It reminds me of Friday the 13th, March 2020. At least here in Asia, it was March 13th, a Friday. Absolutely bonkers. Obviously, now everyone's gonna be wondering, where are we gonna go from here? Bitcoin is sitting at pretty much spot 40,000. It's just at the Tesla waterline. Elon tweeted that Tesla is having diamond hands. So yeah, let's kind of take a bit of a peek. Let's look at the various options going forward, and fingers crossed they are in your interest. So with this, a lot of fun in today's video. Hey and welcome to today's video. My name is Julian. On my channel, it's all about making you crypto fit. I discuss the beautiful world of decentralization, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, altcoins. Obviously, I talk about my company Cake. I talk about a blockchain DeFi chain that I'm involved in. I talk about my investments, and I try to share and be as transparent as possible to you out there. If you like this stuff, click the subscribe button, click the bell icon, follow whatever channel you're watching. If you're listening to the podcast, then yeah, obviously subscribe as well. If you want to help me out here and you want to support the algorithm, please give an upvote, give a like, click a heart, leave a positive review, leave me a nice comment. All this stuff helps. Obviously, we are at 40,000 at Bitcoin and equivalent in the other coins. I mentioned in 48 hours ago that I invested into Bitcoin. I bought more DeFi chain and I bought more Ethereum. And pretty much all those positions are slightly in the plus. So Bitcoin I bought just around the 40,000 mark. DFI I bought several times. Average was just around the $3 mark. So I'm like a bit plus there. Ethereum as well. So all the positions doing okay in the short term. I mentioned also I'm not that worried about the short term here. I see this more over a year's timeline. And yeah, I want to discuss a bit now what are the various options. Are we going to stick to a Bitcoin season? Are we going to see an altcoin season? Is Bitcoin going to dip lower? Let's discuss this a bit. Maybe let me know in the chat if you want to. Let me know in the comments, what do you think we're going to see now going forward? Do you think Bitcoin is going to rather trend down? Do you think we see a bit sideways? Do you think it's going to go up? And also, do you think we're going to see more of a Bitcoin-focused season or more of an altcoin-focused season? Let me know. Maybe up front, maybe argue a bit, and like give me a bit of the background to your opinion. Obviously, no one knows the future. I don't know the future. And yes, I saw those kind of conspiracy theories about this China-focused dump that was happening, and that was to wipe out Justin Sun. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you come up with this crap. To me, that's a survivorship bias, yeah, kind of story. So to me, that has zero foundation. That's just nice storytelling. So no one knows what's going to happen forward, right? So always keep this in mind. No one knows the future. These are all either it's lucky guesses, it's survivorship bias. All we can do is we can have various outcomes and give it certain probabilities. That's all it is. And there will be certain outcomes that are more likely and there will be outcomes that are less likely. But no outcome ever has a zero probability. There's always a super tiny chance. There's a tiny chance there's a black hole popping up tomorrow and suddenly everything disappears. That chance is super tiny, and it's so tiny that we don't have to consider it, but it's always there, right? And so when we look about the various kind of ideas and how the market can move, obviously we have three main kind of directions. We have Bitcoin trending down, we have Bitcoin going sideways, we have Bitcoin going up. Obviously we have a lot of mixtures in between. Here in the chat I see that the dip is temporary. Rennie thinks altcoins are going to pick up more. Bitcoin is going to pick up as well. Manuel says that it's going to be more of a sidewards trend. Chimdino says he thinks Bitcoin season and Q4 altcoin season. Matthias says sideways with slightly raising. Andre says, we're going to go back down to 30K and then we're going to see the 100K. Interesting ideas. Obviously, let's look a bit of the fundamentals first. And let's understand what would have to happen. We're at the waterline right now where it comes to that everything that kind of, like with the waterline, I'm talking about the Tesla waterline, which when Tesla announced that they were going to buy Bitcoin, pretty much all this has been wiped off right now, right? So we are right there. Everything that were above that, the 40 to 65, happened with the information Tesla was buying. And now Tesla still owns about 90% of their Bitcoins, at least of latest information, but they're not accepting Bitcoins anymore. So everyone below that has so far bought, actually, there's no new information. All the information that was maybe new is actually a bit more positive. We have more inflation expectations. Yes, on the other hand, we have people changing some of their gains into lifestyle credits with COVID kind of trickling off. So this is kind of it. So if you are more of the kind of proponent that Bitcoin is going to crash further down, to me, this would need some unexpected trigger. It would need to be a trigger. Either there is price manipulation going down, or it would be some regulation, or it would be some taxation, or it would be some other event that's very unexpected that would make the price further moving down. Because looking at any kind of blockchain analysis, any kind of trading behavioral analysis, be it a relative strength index, being it a network value transaction kind of measurement, be it what happens to the coins, are they rather moving to exchanges or off exchanges, what are stable coins doing, all these kind of behavioral metrics rather focus more on the bullish side. So to have an opinion that the market's further going to go down is, to me, the least likely scenario, just based on all this behavior. Now, again, this doesn't mean that there's no event that's very difficult to calculate, very unlikely, that could just make the market kind of drop further down. But it is actually the scenario I see the least likely. Why do I see it the least likely? Just because a lot of selling has happened. Most people that are where we are, they bought with a different premise. And so they're not going to go out right now, at least. And you can see this with all the analysis. Also, when you look at a year-to-date performance, I mean, we are like 30% up year-to-date. That's for Bitcoin. That's not above average. I mean, that's actually below average. If you consider Bitcoin on average grows around 100 to 200% a year. So being up only 30% in 5 months, that's pretty much nothing. I mean, these are rookie numbers, right? So nothing to really kind of, to me, expect that this is crazy. Even if you go back an entire year, right? An entire year to today, we are up about 350%. Yeah, that's a lot, but it's actually not that much for Bitcoin. It's a bit on the higher side, but it's definitely not in a crazy kind of numbers, especially not considering all the money printing and all the environment wins. So to me, from any kind of perspective here, a further sickling down, very unlikely. Right? That's at least how I kind of judge that. If we see a further sickling down, I would expect altcoins to bleed significantly more than Bitcoin, for the very simple reason that most people probably are more in simply for the price action in altcoins, less in the value. So all they look at is a ticker symbol going up. As long as this ticker symbol goes up, they have FOMO. As long as this ticker symbol trends down, they're really losing hope. So I would say Bitcoin going down, which is the least likely scenario, would start a hefty Bitcoin season. That's at least how I would see it. Second scenario is the second likely scenario. It's obviously the middle scenario, is that we're actually going to see a strong rebound. I really don't see that happening for the simple reason that we're missing a bit the stimulus for that. I mean, what's going to cause the massive stimulus for Bitcoin to go up? Yeah, it could be that it's one of the larger partners coming in. It's a large institutional customer. It's maybe a whale. But again, I'm just not 100% bought or sold on the idea that they're actually going to come in right now, or if they're not waiting a bit more. And in my opinion, if the markets were to turn up, I think there would be a hefty altcoin season for the simple reason because a lot of the players that are in this kind of short-sighted game, they're still in the game and they still want to make quick money. So I think we would then see again the spiking of an altcoin season. And right now we see a bit of a downtrend of an altcoin season. So that would, to me, be the exact opposite scenario. Again, it's a bit more likely to me than the pure Bitcoin season, for the simple reason that, I really think that the downward pressure is pretty much gone. And so to me, and that's also why I bought, right? I gave it the least likely chance that we see more downward pressure. To me, the second likely, again, unless there's an event that kind of is a catalyst for that. Going back up, I'm also kind of a bit waiting on what could this be, right? Maybe in June we see a bit of an ETF approval. That would be obviously a massive catalyst. But other than that, I wouldn't see anything that's like that is to be expected, right? That, again, it's like playing poker, right? Sure, you can play and you can hope that you get the nuts, and you hope that, that you have the nuts, and that, and maybe you don't, and you have to hope that, the river is like fantastic. But again, at the end, these are just hoping. You can't do that. You need to base your decisions on math. You need to base it on probability. So the most likely scenario here to me is that we're actually going to be dancing around that $40,000 line. We might go a bit down by 10% from that, so like 35,000, and we might go up again in the medium, higher 40s. But I think it's just the market's going to stay a bit directionless for the next couple of weeks. And what that's going to do, in my opinion, and the reason is just because it's lacking both sides. At the end, it has bullish tendencies because pretty much everyone that's out is out now, but it's lacking the positive stimulus a bit. So, and that's why I think it's going to be a bit directionless. Also, don't forget, there's going to be a lot of people who are sick and tired of being in this market, and all they want is they just want to break even, especially if there's a lot of pain in the market. So I think we're going to see a sidewards trend. And the question then is going to be, how long is the sidewards trend going to go? And the longer, obviously, the less excited people are about investing in the ticker symbols, and that's all what people are doing. And they're going to start looking into value again, and they probably even going to leave the crypto space, and they're going to look for other like fast cyclers where they can gamble and where they can make quick money. And there's a lot of action out there that hasn't made much money yet, that has been relatively slow, and maybe these things start picking up again. So maybe it's going to shift a bit into these ideas. And obviously, the longer this takes, the stronger a Bitcoin season could be. The faster we go up again, the more tendency we're going to have for an altcoin season. So that is a bit of how I see this, the ideas. And obviously, over the next year, I expect to make quite some returns on this investment here. I will then probably exit out relatively fast, not because I don't believe in the investments. It's really more that this is not a crypto position. This is more a cash flow position. And the original cash flow idea kind of broke down simply because there's no more cash flow to be made unless the markets turn a bit more bullish again. So that is a bit the idea here. And as soon as the other idea starts being interesting again, I will probably flip into it, and it will probably coincide with crypto going up. So this is a bit of the idea, and I hope that helps you a bit. So these are a couple of the ideas here. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know how my reasoning makes sense, or if you see things differently. And again, if you like this stuff, then subscribe, stay and around. I would be super glad if you give me an upvote, positive comment, and then I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Yours truly, Julian. Bye-bye.